Can I get everybody's attention, please? Can I get everybody stand up, please, for the flag salute? Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Joseph?
Yes, let's pray. Loving God, thank you that we can gather tonight. How wonderful it is to see each other's faces again. Lord, we do pray that you would help us again get on top of this COVID thing. People would get vaccinated, people would be careful, and that would see it defeated. Help us tonight learn how we can raise up new techs in this industry that we so desperately need. We ask that in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Want to shut the door? Okay, next we're going to go around and we're going to do self-introductions. Hello, Mr. Norm.
Okay, thanks. Norm Blyden, I'm a CPA and business broker. We do monthly financials, payroll, and taxes, and we help clients sell and buy businesses. Someone once described me as being a wheelie CPA because a lot of our businesses, our clients have something to do with wheels. We have auto repair, body shops, car washes, truck stops, gas stations, towing companies. Thanks. Norm Blyden, CPA.
Good morning or good evening. Hi, Steve. Who knows what it is? Gene Morrill, certified auto specialist. I've been a member since 1984. So those of you who haven't been here that long, it's a big benefit to belong to our association.
What was my name again?
My name is Dave Label. I'm retired and acting as a carpool dummy so that they can be in the...
Not very good.
Hey, you're drinking a beer.
But you don't have to be very good, do you? You just got to be there.
Glenn Davis from GDA Enterprises in Upland. If you guys notice, I have a Chapter 5 50th anniversary shirt from 31 years ago. I just thought I'd dig it out today and wear it. It has no holes or grease stains on it.
John Longo, North Hollywood Auto Repair.
Dan Brown, North Hollywood Auto Repair.
Ali Farizi, Olive Auto Center, Burbank.
Gary from Bussard's Automotive in LA.
Steve from Fremont and Purdon in Pasadena.
Well, I forgot to say my wife.
My wife, Ani. I just don't want to get in trouble.
Too late.
Okay, this is my wife. My wife, Nina. John Smaldridge from Accurate Auto Works in Pasadena.
Raul from Raul's Auto Repair in Azusa.
Moses, Associated Automotive in Covina, California.
Carlos from Associated Automotive in Covina.
Should I go first like this? Naira, my fiance. And Amanto from Jerry's Auto Repair and Body in Pasadena.
I'm Dave Greer from Baldwin Park Adult and Automotive Instructor.
Good evening. Steve Tamori, representing education for Rio Hondo College, full-time professor.
Kirk from Advance in Pasadena.
Wendy Lucko, Pasadena City College.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tim Shakarian from Beamer PhD Motorsports. I'm here with my business partner, my lovely wife, Johanna. And I brought the whole team today. So we've got our awesome service advisor, Kevin, Joseph Papa, and John Loyola, who are both graduates of PCC. And I'm happy to be here, and thank you, everyone, for coming.
That's Adrian Aguilar, Wendy's kid, Sal Diaz, PCC automotive instructor.
Hi. I'm Valerie Maimoni with Crown City Tire Auto Care. I'm literally a stone throw away, right here.
You don't even have to cross the street.
I think we're going this way, right? John with Mitchell 1.
I'm Mike from Lex Massachusetts with my lovely wife, Nairi, in Pasadena.
My name is Jack Strayfield. I'm a former Chapter 5 board member. I'm retired at this point. I'm an honorary life member of Chapter 5. And by the way, on the Canary Islands, there are no canaries. And on the Virgin Islands, there are no canaries. There are no canaries there either.
Joe Gomez from Mark Crisperato Center in Ontario.
Randy Lewis, world famous Jasper Engines, and one of your board members, last 13 years.
Bruce Holly, Holly Insurance Services.
Mike Machado, A&E Automotive here in Pasadena.
Okay, moving on. Gene, would you like to give a report?
Yeah, sure. Hello, once again, Gene Morrill. I am one of your government affairs committee members with the ASCCA. We do a lot of work behind the scenes, a lot of work you don't see. I'd encourage, I've sent out 2 or 3 emails through Joseph, so if you saw those today on your email, there's a lot of things going on with our crazy government. One of the first things that I see is the smog check program is going to start checking for modified software, tuners, that kind of stuff. So I think a lot of, especially diesel guys, are going to be caught off guard when their trucks fail the smog check program for modified software. And a lot of it is going to be able to come to us for repair. Some of it will have to go to the referee. So be prepared if you do smog check for upset customers or their software passing last time, but failing this time. Yes, Raul.
Do you know if that software, by any chance, is going to be checking?
I'm sorry, I can't hear.
I noticed there's a lot, especially the GM vehicles, where somebody swapped a computer and it has a different VIN number than what the vehicle has.
From what I understand, it's going to the VID and it's looking for similar software types. I'm not sure how that's done. I'm sure it's all hush hush. I don't think they're looking for VIN numbers or matching VIN numbers. I think it's looking for types of software that's all consistent with that year, make, and model, from what I understand. So
I believe if they detect something different, they're going to ask for a no number.
Correct.
Does the software have a, is it a legitimate software upgrade
right.
For the vehicle? And you put
if you have an EO number, you're good.
You're good.
So, okay. Next, I have copies of this. I have 5 copies if anybody wants it, but I did send it out email through Joseph. So if you look at your email, the Bureau of Auto Repair and Jack Moladonoff is our lobbyist. He sent out a list of bills. AB 471 is the top one that we're supporting, and it's has cite and fine in it, which is Bureau comes out, gives you a fine, gives you the ability to go to a traffic school instead of it going on your record. So that's a good thing. They're taking salvage vehicles and they're doing more of a safety inspection versus just a brake and lamp inspection. So there's some good things coming out of that, and we are supporting that. There's a lot of the bills that have turned into 2-year bills, which means nothing's going to happen this year. They're going to try again next year because they didn't have the support. But there are hazardous waste bills, career tech ed bills, I don't want to go through every single one, but look at your email. This was sent out to you. If you want a hard copy, come see me. I have hard copies of that also. Last month, we talked about Bureau of Auto Repair advisory meeting, and there was a lot going on. Again, I have copies if you want it. I don't want to go through everything because we want to get to our program. Just come get a copy or look at your email or call me. Now, something, not only automotive bills affect us, and I sent this out today. One of our committees in our city is really going after this. There's two bills coming out, SB 9 and SB 10. Now, these are housing bills. How does that affect us? Housing bills, if SB 9 passes, it's going to take every single R1 residential lot in California and make it available that you can put 4 units on it and the city can't stop you. So if you want your neighbor to tear down their house and put up 4 units, no parking, no nothing, that's what SB 9 is going to do. And I sent out a list of people to contact, so please take a minute, make some phone calls. All you have to do is say, I oppose SB 9. It's going to make my neighborhood look like crap. Whatever you want to say, please do that. It's really important. And then SB 10 is a similar bill, but it's going to let developers build 10-unit projects, no yards, no regulation, and your city has no zoning codes at all that can stop that, and no parking. So,
is this expanding?
I'm sorry, I can't.
Is that expanding the eminent domain?
No such thing as eminent domain. This is just everybody, it just takes your zoning out of your city's hands, and it makes the builder or the resident or whoever buys the property next door can take a single family home, put up 4 units, or on certain other properties, they can put up 14 units, and your city can't stop them.
Yeah, all these guys are out advertising on TV now, we'll buy your home any condition.
Oh, yeah.
They'll go buy that home for nothing, tear it down, and put multi-tenant units right next door to you.
Yeah.
And they don't care what city, doesn't care what neighborhood,
yeah.
They're going to do it because they have the money in the back.
We're supposed to say what?
Well, I mean, if you look at all the laws out there, it started about 10 years ago with the sustainable communities. If some of our legislators have their way, they want everybody to live, work, commute all within a sustainable community, which means you're going to take train, electric cars, no gasoline cars. They've already passed the bill that 2030, 2040, no more gas cars in California. And I mean, if you talk to John Fralla at Steve's place, Rio Hondo, he will enlighten the crap out of you about what's going on because he's ahead of the electronic Tesla and all the Rivian and all these new electronic trucks and buses that are coming out. I was at a meeting and was talking with him. It's kind of enlightening to hear what the future can hold. Right now, we have about 2% electric cars. They're thinking about 8% in 5 or 10 years. And then after that, it's going to be depending on where batteries go and are. But remember, Biden has this $1 trillion package going through. A lot of that is going to subsidize electric cars. So electric cars are not a good thing unless they're subsidized by the government. So there's a lot of crazy things going on. So pay attention. When I ask you to make some phone calls, please make phone calls, send an email. If you don't know what to say or do, email me, call me. It's not a big deal. But we need to have the more folks that say, don't do this, the better it is. One of you is worth 1,000 votes to any politician. So one of you makes 1,000 vote difference by one phone call, one email, one stop it. No, I don't want that. So if you have any questions, again, I have some copies here if you want to take it with you, or just contact me and I'll be happy to.
And give your ASCCA report.
Say that again?
You want to give your report?
Oh, I'm also a board member on ASCEF, the Automotive Educational Foundation, we give away 30 to 40 scholarships each year. Some of the money we collect here helps with our education fund, and we give tool carts to graduating students through Rio Hondo and PCC, and maybe we'll have to get hooked up with Dave next year at Baldwin Park. So your money goes to help young people get into the trade. So if you have, go to the website, please. There's some videos on how to donate cars. People abandon cars. People don't want to fix cars. They don't know what to do with them. Instead of going to Cars for Careers or something like that, have them donate it to ASCEF. Pretty easy process. And the money goes to the young people that'll hopefully get into our industry. Yes.
A couple months ago, I put a car. And the customer came back to me last week. Go to our flag that wants to buy it from you. This is the one of the 30 years.
Yeah.
Go to our guy, went over to pick it up.
Uh-huh.
The car was he wants to buy it. So I am going to work.
Yeah, don't let me know. That's some of the, I will pass it on, but yeah, there's some crazy things going out there. A lot of times, if I have a car they want to donate and I can get, $1,000 for it and the customer is okay with it, we'll sell it for the $1,000 and donate the cash right to the foundation instead of donating the car. Because a lot of times they'll only get $200 or $300 for the car, where you can get more if you want to do that, but that's up to you. So. But thank you, Ali. Get a hold of me and I'll pass that on, okay? All right. Yes.
On the housing bills, do you know off the top of your head if HOAs are going to be?
If what?
HOAs are going to be.
I have no idea. Sorry. Yeah, I don't even know if Jack would know because he's an automotive guy. So, but I encourage you. Most of your cities have a government affairs committee or something. I'd encourage you, if it does, just to listen in or get involved. One thing I guarantee you, if you get involved with the government going on, you'll go crazier than you are and you'll lose more hair, because those guys are wackos. If they're still pushing for every year, they bring up sales tax on labor. We fight it. We've beat it down so far. So many things that I don't think a lot of you even know or appreciate that your association does. So that's why we need members. Even if you don't show up, we need the dollars to pay our lobbyists, to fight our fight, to let us know what's going on. So I'd encourage you, go to your neighbor, make them join. Even if they don't show up, we can use their support. And it's better to go to Sacramento with 10,000 people than with 2,000 people in an organization. So encourage everybody to join, so we have that power to give them a punch up there and maybe win one. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Gene. Next, we have Tim. Would you like to give a report, Tim?
First of all, I just want to say thank you, everyone, for coming, and the work that Gene and everybody in government affairs puts into is like the foundation of our association. So that's what your dues go to, and that's what keeps us legal. If you guys were not at the last team weekend, Luscious Garage. Carolyn Cocolette from Luscious Garage and Shopware did a really, really good presentation. If you look in your team talk, that you will find there was super helpful information on new electronic authorizations. If you're adopted electronic authorizations in your shop, it expedites the flow of the shop so much better. So I encourage you to do that. If you have not been on the ASCCA website recently, please go to it. There's a ton of helpful information. The one point I want to bring out that this September 11th is going to be our team weekend, and it is going to be in person in Fresno. So if you're able to make the trek to Fresno, join me. If you've never been, the chapter can help with some of the expenses that are involved in that. The amount of information that you receive that's super helpful at a team weekend. I mean, my first team weekend I went to, I was hooked. So if you haven't been to a team weekend, cast the line with me. Let's go. It's a lot of fun. Jack, I thank you for getting me hooked on this stuff. But honestly, the more you get involved in the association, the more you find out the amount of legwork that the people just like you and I are doing in their shops and they're in our industry that are supporting us to be able to have the kind of freedoms that we have. So September 11th, Team Weekend in Fresno. I'm probably going to call a few of you guys and see if you guys like to join me. I think it's really cool. The more we do that, the more it brings our chapter together and builds the association. I think that's what we're really here for. So that's what I have from a chapter rep's point of view. From programs, I believe next month our schedule is to meet at Gilbert Motors for shop night. So if you have not been to a shop night, most of you guys have, bring a friend. Find one, rope them in, commit them, hold them accountable, bring a friend. And honestly, I would like to welcome Anto from Jerry's Tires and his fiance. They visited twice and they're looking at being joining members. So we thank you. And you're gonna be a good member of our association over here. So we thank you for your support and thanks for coming and visiting us. So one thing that Chapter 5 has really been good with and good for is shops helping shops. And I really appreciate the wisdom and heritage that Glenn brings, as well as Gene and a lot of the folks that have been doing this many years, because I've only been a member about 5 or 6 years, and it's like a drug. The more you do it, the more you want it. I'm not saying I'm a drug. So that's what's programmed. So if Gilbert Motors got a really nice shop. He's been, Darren's been working on that for quite a number of years. So hope to see everybody there at shop night. The information will go out. It'll be in Team Talk. And then we'll also, as a board, call you guys and remind you guys. It's going to be the first Tuesday of every month. First Tuesday of every month is when we meet. The next one is going to be at Gilbert Motors, and we're hoping to do something a little bit special. Maybe we'll do a little bit of tech training. I've got a few feelers out right now. I haven't got any commitments yet, but hopefully we'll be able to do a little bit of tech training as well. So the program tonight is really all about last month. Oh, is that what's next on the membership committee? Okay. Excellent. So let me end my part of programs and I'll turn it on over to Glenn.
All right. So one of the things that the membership committee has decided to do as an action plan is to create a mentorship program. You know, talking about your problems to a whole group of people is embarrassing. Everybody makes mistakes. Sometimes you think they're stupid mistakes. Sometimes they're dumb mistakes. Sometimes it's just because you don't know. And so why pay tuition at the School of Hard Knocks when you've got all of these people around here who are willing to help? And so in the theme of shop owners helping shop owners, the chapter is willing to mentor anybody who needs to help grow their business, start their business, or move on to the next chapter. We've got some really intelligent people who've been around for a long time who are going to love to help you. It's all voluntary. It's discreet. Nobody else has to know about it. It's just another thing your chapter is doing to help you improve your business.
Okay, another thing is with the training is end of September we have Shop Gurus, which is Drive, and they want to put on some training for a chapter. So if anybody has ideas of what they want, they got 110 topics. Get a hold of Tim and let him know kind of what you're interested in, and Tim's going to get together with them and help put together the training for anybody that's interested. And they're going to do it all free, pay for dinner. It's going to be a good thing. Gene, you're probably good to get it.
I'm just curious, a show of hands, I had Bob Cooper said he would come out and do a Saturday, like 9 to 2 at the hotel in Pasadena. There are people that would show up for that if we did that. So So we could put maybe 40 or 50 people in there. Whatever we want, we have a bunch of topics. We could choose. So we've done it before, and you know, the chapter usually funds the majority of it. He usually charges $150 a person for his classes, but because he's tied in with us, he'll do it for no charge. And then a chapter will buy the lunch and the hotel fee, so it'll be a very minimal, if not free, class. But he mentioned to me the other day that he'd be willing to come out and do that again if we want. But we're in for that for the winter when it slows down. Okay, that's 12 hands. All right, thank you.
And I'm sure there'll be more once it comes to that point. The one from Drive, they're doing it after work. They're doing it from 6 to 9, 3 nights in September. So they actually want to do it in Van Nuys, and I told them that probably won't work for us because it's too far away. So this is just in getting ready to do something stage. They're ready to do something. We need to kind of get together, maybe find a shop that we could do it or something. This is just, I'm just putting it out there so people could get ideas if they have any.
How many people here are thinking about ADAS, what they have to do for the new? Okay, because my John Bean rep said that they have a brand new technical trailer and they're looking to do some of that kind of stuff. So I'm trying to set up a technical training seminar with John Bean on ADAS and calibrations and that whole thing.
Darren shop night. Darren shop night, so they can at least show up.
Well, I don't know if it's going to be available. I gave him Tim's number, but I don't know if he's contacted me yet.
Not yet, it's come back.
Okay, well, we may have to do it at another time, but okay. ADAS is coming, guys, and if you're in the front end and wheel alignment or any of that other kind of stuff, you need to at least understand it.
I would like to mention, speaking of ADAS, Scott Brown is actually his guru, in my opinion, so.
Okay, he's done several of them.
Now it's time for this young lady to take over.
All right, so what we want to do is welcome PCC. Well, we've had, I think our chapter has had a really strong presence when it comes to colleges. So those of you that are educators, would you please take a moment and stand up? Sal? So these are educators. And you guys do an amazing job of leading the next generation in. So today we want to welcome Wendy from PCC. She's going to tell us a few points that that they're working on and how we as shops can benefit, because the ultimate goal of this is to understand what the colleges are doing so that these students that are coming out of the colleges can adapt to our environment and into our shops. So thank you, Wendy.
Before you take over, how many people last month in a magazine read about Wendy's profile? How many people actually open up the link to the newsletter?
How can it be less? That doesn't make sense. Why, thank you. Tim actually called me in a whirlwind while he's driving with this idea. I said, sure, I'll help you with this idea. So it's kind of what we did for chapter 48 with Rocky. And it went well. It introduced that chapter to reaching out, being part of the community, seeing what colleges need, and us understanding your needs. So Tim is saying, yeah, let's understand what the college is doing, but we are very much driven by what you bring us. Okay. I'm kind of familiar with programs up and down the state. I hear from different instructors. I have no qualms about going in a shop, introducing myself, and kind of looking around. Since my Allied days, when I'd go deliver and do customer service, I'd always watch. The customer's mad or the tech's mad? Is there a high turnover rate? That's how I picked where to go work. So it's a cradle to grave. And we do have a problem with programs closing up at high school levels. You guys have seen Blair close up like 20 some years ago. We've seen Muir, the last one in this area, close up. So it's very hard. Yes, it's very expensive. As you guys know, our overhead is astronomical. Okay. So Steve is going to mention something about helping out at a different level before they even get to college, and he's going to need some assistance if this can get off the ground. So I'm going to hand it over to him for a minute.
Well, I just want to say that, in my opinion, this industry is lacking the, and there's no blame here, in the outreach to have young people like this young gentleman here and those at that age to be excited about working with their hands. I was born just a few blocks from here at the Huntington Memorial. Grew up in Pasadena, but moved to Glendora in the early 70s and went through the school system. And I was fortunate enough to have shop classes. We called it shop. We went out in the shop, wood, metal, and of course, when you get a little older, a little auto. And that was my love, my passion. As a matter of fact, my grandfather owned the gas station where the 210 freeway is right across from your, on Lincoln. Of course, the freeway just knocked it down. So that was my playground. I am a firm believer that it starts at home. Parents. We got to get the parents involved to let their children know that this is a career. It's not a grease monkey job anymore. We all know the complexity.
I disagree a little bit on that because the only reason I'm here in this industry is because Citrus College had an automotive program at night. They gave me the opportunity for me to go to work a couple hours and then go to school at night. And that's where I got started at Citrus College, have all the night classes available to us.
Yes, and I'm a graduate of Citrus myself. Here's my idea. I am an Elks member here at the Pasadena Lodge, and I was talking to somebody recently, and I'm spitballing here. You know, I'm throwing stuff on the wall, see if it sticks. What do you think that the local chapter can work with myself, Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts, bring the parents in, bring the young folks in, start them off simple. This is how you check your oil, help your mom and dad out. This is how you fill up your car, check tires, and get them involved. And I would like to maybe work with you folks, if you would like kindly, work with me, working with the Elks Club, working with the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts, if you would open up your shop and maybe we can work together, grow them when they're here. Because when they get to community college, as you know, when you get texts at a certain age, they already have bad habits. As a matter of fact, I had a class one time and I said, we torque bolts clockwise. They go, what's clockwise? Can you believe that? I said, are you serious? See the clock on the wall? The hand goes this way, that's clockwise, counterclockwise. Oh. So I'm passionate about this field, this industry, independent shops, dealers, and some other schools. Won't mention any names, but I would like to work with you and just think about it. Okay, thank you.
So basically, pay attention to the emails. When Joseph sends something out, he might be reaching out to get some help. And it's kind of along the lines, Gary and I spoke, and he said, you know, I wouldn't mind having a weekend where customers come in to learn basic things, so that way the language is the same. You know, they understand what 2 30 seconds on a tire means. Like we've all had these ideas. It's just we need to talk about them and actually make them work. Back to like what you're talking about, programs and the way they run and knowing people's needs and your community needs. That's very important for us to build schedules, to know what needs to be taught. We don't have success with the night program. We've had a night program and it's always low enrolled.
That's what I noticed was interesting, canceled the night program.
Low enrollment is a big issue. And if we don't have the enrollment, the state's not going to fund us. That's one of those cost things. If we don't have more than 60% first day, class is gone. A lot of kids are working. There's different jobs. The jobs also changed. Our demographics have changed. So the industry now, they're driving Amazon at all hours, or they're driving at night, or they're working AutoZone. So
I think it's the UC and the CSU system and the government pushing the parents to think everyone has to have a 4-year degree to be successful. Work with your hands or nobody. I'm paraphrasing. But the counselor and everybody else include what it's like to earn a good living in this industry.
Mm-hmm.
And
we have to be proactive and say, correct. And that's where it comes up to us to make sure that your voices are heard. And we do that very well at PCC, where I have no qualms calling anybody saying, I need you to go with me to visit the president. No issues. That came from McIntyre. He kind of put that in me.
Just real quick, I've been in this business for 30 years. So I've been in this business for 30 years. From when I started out, I think the stereotype was, oh yeah, you dropped out of high school and became a mechanic. As time goes on, as far as my time went on, I realized, dude, you need to know your stuff. You've all taken the ASC test. It's not a joke. You need to know your electronics. You need to know Ohm's law. You need to know every little aspect of it. I believe that, and this is coming from me. Everyone has a different experience. A lot of the people that I'm getting from colleges, and no pun intended, they're clueless. They have no idea. We're hiring people, tech. They went to school, they got their degree, whatever it is they have, they come over, no practical ability whatsoever. So saying, how can we get them excited and get them involved? You ask me, it's marketing. We got to somehow market this out there, whether it's social media. This is what the kids are doing nowadays, right? Social media, colleges, I don't know. Basically, we need to let people know the kind of money is involved if you know what you're doing in this business. We all know it's hard to hold on to techs. How much we pay for the good guy that's working for you and how hard you have to fight to keep them. So if we don't take that, I think that grassroots approach where we have to market it to the young guys, or young people, I should say, and bring them in and just sort of guide them through the programs. And the other thing is, lack of, you're saying you have to have 60%, right? That's probably because there's nobody out there pushing this. Because people think, oh, mechanics, they're just a bunch of grease monkeys,
I tell you, it's still present today. At least I can remember high school, and you'll never have anything go out.
Well, that does change, and so we do. Well, but there's a certain point where yes, it's still there, but that is a hard wave, a cultural wave to try to change. There's other things we could do that have impact now, and that's what today's about. So, we have wait lists. Our classes are waitlisted. Okay, so how can I tell a dean that I need to teach this night class if I only have 5 students where I'm waitlisted over here? So we do change with the times. We pay attention to what's going on. We do work really hard with shops to make sure that they can accommodate our students too with their schedules. We try to give them 8 to 12, 5 days a week. They could work with you from 1 to 6, 5 days a week, plus Saturdays. We do a schedule that does work. I worked while I went to school. Yes, it did take me a long time because I was part-time, but it's feasible. We alternate our schedules for afternoons. Every 3 semesters, we alternate. Sal will teach in the afternoon one class, and then I do, and then my other instructor does. We all alternate so that if we have a morning student that's going to work, they could come to school in the afternoon. Night just doesn't work. Parts are closed at night. We do a lot of live work. We are in the shop every single day. A lot of live work. Sometimes we're eating, standing up because we don't have time to get ready for the next class. I can't do that if the parts place is closed. These are my students. They're like, if you hear them giggling, how many times do you have to remind me to go to the bathroom because I don't even have time to go wee? Right? Okay. So just know that not all programs are the same. The only eyes on the program are you guys, the real eyes. ASC, yes, they could come and check off the checklist. We teach above the ASC standards because of you guys, because we know what's expected at this level and at that level. So just understand, ASC could be a minimum or a maximum. For us, it's a minimum, okay? We rather hear from you that, well, I need this tech to know how to check that timing is set correctly. Because that's more important than doing it, because I have this tech that can do it for me, or the machine shop does it, but we need someone that can check to see if it was done right. That's more important. Okay, we'll concentrate on that. So ASC tests and certifications, good. You have the theory. It's hands-on. It's written, but not the hands-on. So this is a little example. We do have timed and one-on-one assessments. If they have a passing grade in the class and they don't pass those assessments, they don't pass the class. We have the right to fail them. Right, Sal?
Yeah, we only have 3 opportunities to actually get it right. You don't agree with just letting them pass because they have to do hands-on stuff. Or sorry, in the lab work. They have to do good in the hands-on, and we emphasize that they're working on people's cars once they go into the field. Yeah, we don't just do online. That's not, we don't agree with, yeah, that's not like, they need to know what a bolt feels like before it breaks. Yeah.
Tries to ace it on the last day and never really practice.
Yeah, so I have a hands-on assessment where you cut a rotor on a brake lathe. And you get that one student that waits till the last day of class to actually try to cut a rotor, and they're struggling. They don't know how to zero out the machine. They don't know why the machine's cutting bad because the bits are bad. And this is something we constantly cover during the class. And again, they don't pass the class until they actually pass these hands-on assessments. So if there's actual hands-on assessments you guys want us to perform, tell us what you guys want us to do.
I have a parts assessment. I lay parts out. A lot of them. And I pick at random. You got to tell me this function and the name. You got to tell me this function and the name. They don't pass that, they don't pass the class. They could have an A in grade work and it's in the syllabus. Yet does someone come up and fight us on it? So, you know, all this is stuff we've learned. And how did we learn this? Because we were technicians. And we kept true to that. We don't want our names going on a student's record that kills somebody. Correct? What grade do you guys have the first day of class? How many points do you have?
Oh, 0.
So what grade is that?
F.
There's no extra credit.
You come into class first day, you have an F. And it's in my syllabus. You have to work for your points. There's some notion of entitlement that they come in with a C. How many of you guys have hired techs like that? They come in, they ask you for $20, $30 an hour before they even know how to sweep a floor. I'm very sorry. Okay, so, you know, every program's different, but make sure that this is something that's communicated. Don't feel embarrassed, okay? Yes?
Hey, Wendy, the internship program that you have,
yes.
Is it prerequisite to graduate for every student?
No. That's a double-edged sword, because like I was telling Johanna, you might get it done. We are a public institution, so it's very hard to say you have to do this because Well, we can't be unequitable, and we can't force everybody to give up time to do this internship. So if there's a student that has a summer or a winter because they're a core student, a capstone student, let's put you to work instead of being off for 3 months. So I did it out of need to not have them lose their ability for 3 months, because they would come back to class in the fall and I'd be like, what, it fell out of your head? Right? Yeah. So you entered winter, right, Joseph? A winter. It was a shorter, summer. It was a summer. Okay. So it's a lot of the dating game for us. Literally, we sit in our office, we eat lunch, and it's like, so-and-so, well, but so-and-so is this, and then they might be caustic with this and that. Well, they might be a better fit here. And literally, that's how we're thinking about where to place students, where to have them meet you. I know there's a couple of people in here where I've said, don't hire that person. We had that conversation last month. And they're like, bit their tongue because they're like, you were right. So, you know, we see sides of them that you don't see. We also see sides of their growth. Okay, so we can't know what they're doing in 5 years. I had a kid that left, went to Longo, got some bad habits, and I recommended him, but it'd been like 4 years since I've seen him. I don't know what he's picked up. And he picked up a 5-finger discount kind of habit. And so I apologized. I said, I'm very sorry, but this is not how he was when he was in school. But you're asking me to give you an evaluation on someone that hasn't been under me for a long time. You know, I don't know what they've picked up. So, you know, things do change. Students might get DUIs. I will check. I will ask them these questions to make sure they're clean. They don't need to waste your time. We try to make sure they don't waste your time. Getting the DMV requirement on our curriculum was difficult. I had to push really hard and argue with the school because they said it was unjust, unfair. And I said, they drive cars on campus where there's public walking. Oh, well, they should be licensed. Should. I can't get them hired in the industry without a license. It's a minimum requirement. Oh, that's how I got it passed. So in my curriculum, that's what it says. Because what happened? How many of you guys know people that are 24-year-olds that still don't have a license? There you go. So what do you think we had to deal with? Okay, so the advisory minutes, when that happened, I put in there that I needed justifications for having a valid driver's license as part of the requirements to join the courses. Every single course, every semester, we check their DMV, their H6 record. They said, you cannot discriminate with points as long as it's valid. So we have a heart-to-heart with those that have a lot of points or that have DUIs. And we're very real with them. Okay? We tell them, yes, you could still be in the program. You have a valid driver's license, but be aware. And then these guys talk about how BMW won't even hire them with 2 points, right? I could take them to any one of your shops and you guys tell them, oh, right? Circular file on that resume. We're very frank with them. So, yes.
Another aspect of that, Bruce, what do you do as far as insurance shops and people and applicants and DUIs?
That's what we're talking about.
You don't.
Well, there's some carriers that don't ask for all the drivers. They don't. If somebody's, yeah, most of them do. If somebody's hired and something happens, then a lot of times it's okay. But if you're first time and you're trying to get a job,
yeah. Yeah.
Have a better hiring process.
Yes. So the second point to the programs is be part of those advisory groups. Ask also, be very inquisitive, ask for agenda items, be put on that agenda, say, hey, you know, I'd like to know what kind of prerequisites is there to get in here? You know, is there English or math? Should we teach that within the classes? You're struggling with people who can't write or spell on an RO? Start asking to see samples. How much do you make them write in class? Right? What do you guys do in Auto 200?
We write ROs and and a paper on a either famous person in the automotive industry. Well, we do write a paper on a famous person in the automotive industry. Oh yeah, we write our resumes as well in Auto 200. Mock interviews as well.
Let me ask you this: how has that helped you in your day-to-day writing repair orders?
It actually, okay, I got you. It has helped quite a bit. From writing the papers, we write stories every day. So if you don't know how to spell or don't know how to write stories, you're going to have a very hard time in the industry. I don't think a single day has gone where I haven't had to write something down or write something for a customer so when they come in, they understand what we're talking about.
So this is one of those times where they have class with me and they're like, oh, she's full of shit. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh my God. Right? Yeah. So as for different topics on agendas for advisory committees, look at the curriculum. Ask if, like Sal said, there's something, a practical assessment you want done or you think should be part of a lab, bring it up, because guess what? We could tie it into the ASC tasks easy. We've taken all the ASC tasks and put them into jobs, start to finish. Some of them are like 8 ASC tasks for one job, instead of having them do individual stuff. Because do you just measure rotors, check rotors, and not put the tire on? No, I'm sorry. You need to put the tire on, torque the wheels, and then go test drive it and make sure that shimmy's gone away. We let students drive around with cut brake lines so they know what it feels like to have a spongy paddle. We lock brakes up so they know what it's like to lock one side of a drum. So there's different things. Now there's things we can't simulate, which are very hard, that come into the industry, you know, once in a blue moon. So those are the kind of things where you guys should drive by with that customer's car and go, listen to this bearing knock. Ra-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta, and let the class hear it. Because it's very hard to simulate that for us as on the instructor side. So if there's a shop close by and you got this interesting bug, drive by the shop, see who's there. Teacher might want to record it. Okay. Expectations. We need to know your expectations. This is where we can work up to those expectations. Not that we're going to give you 100% that those expectations are met, because some of those expectations are pretty hard to meet in a public setting in public school. But if they're kind of geared that way, it's going to be easier for you to have that student then reinforce it on site. Now they're on site and they go, oh, I have to write work orders. Oh, I need to wear a uniform. I need to show up on time. I need to show up 15 minutes before, so my RO is picked up at 8 o'clock, not 8:30 after I get coffee. So expectations.
Yeah, I think part of the transition to having students is really having clear and set expectations. So
I love this one.
that was actually one of the simplest ones for a tech that I hired that I've been in 4 shops. And I had to tell him, put your tools away, wipe everything, clean it, put stuff away. And it was simple because he was a really good tech. He could fix cars fast. But like 440 rolled around and it looked nasty in that Bay Area. But we had to let him know that at the end of the day, yes, I know you're going to use that 10 millimeter and I know it's very valuable, but we need to clean it, put it away for 2 reasons. They're my tools that belong to the shop, that you need to be respectful of the tools that are provided by the shop. Those of you that if you're providing tools, take care of your tools. If you're not providing tools, they will take care of their own tools because they bought them. They worked hard for them. So simple things like that, mopping the floors, making sure that your stall is the one that talked about
What is moderate? What is this?
the standards list. So some of the things, I mean, by the way, none of these are new things that we learn. It's just things that we as technicians that have progressed to shop owners, to managers, don't stop and really think about. What Johanna and I did was we sat down and said, okay, well, suppose we find that tech, the one that has A through 9, L1, L2, L3, and I did. What would I want him to know? How would I want him to understand how we do it at our shop? And I've got it in a digital form. If you want, I'll email you a copy of it. But you really should sit down and write these things down as a shop owner or as a business owner for what you expect from the technicians. That way, whether you get an ACE tech from a college or an ACE tech from another shop, welcome to my shop. Here's how we do it here. And it's simple things. I start mine expectations of a technician at Beamer PhD. Show up to work every day at your assigned start time, in uniform, ready to work on a vehicle, period. Clock in and out to start, for start times, lunch time, returning from lunch, end of the day, minimal verbal expectations and most written communication. So, and I will tell you firsthand in our class, Joseph's laughing because these are some of the things that when we don't meet the expectations, what do?
You just work on it and make it a point to get yourself better and just make sure, try your hardest not to make it happen again and just learn from the experience. And then that'll help the shop get together and flow better and make the business flow. So,
is that any different than what you learned in the training program at PCC?
Well, in the training program, we didn't really like clock in or clock out. We kind of just showed up to class as best as we could. We did have, I was, yes. Unfortunately, I'm very bad with being on time. But this job has actually helped me get better at being on time because Tim always makes it a point to, be on time, and I'm very bad at being punctual, but correct.
Yes, it's, I want my first service correct. Now, I have the liberty of like kicking your butt if you don't get it to me on time.
Right.
But I'm not the average customer.
Correct. And with Wendy being the instructor, locking us out of class drives home the point that, like being punctual is a must. And it is required in the automotive industry to be professional about it and be punctual. So, yeah.
It's the second point. It leads to the second point in the expectations in the morning, which is with what Kevin does at 8:15. Meet with the service advisor or the dispatcher about the work that is dispatched to you on a time-based goal. In our shop, we have ET and PT times. ET time means by 12 o'clock, the technician needs to let the service advisor know this is what's wrong with this car. Even if it's, oh shit, I haven't got to it yet. That way, the service advisor at that point has the luxury to be able to make the decision that he needs to. So these are basic things that in a shop, students easily adapt to. Valerie has something to say.
So what I do with my technicians, and they hate it, but I don't care because it's my shop, I give them a packet. So on their first day, this is a packet. This is what is expected of you. Okay? When you show up on time, you are late. Because on time means you are clocked in, ready to go, your shirt's tucked in, your hair's combed. My technicians have to be well-groomed because they're talking to my guests. And they know that. And they're not allowed to wear sunglasses out because I don't want female customers feeling intimidated. They know that. So they know exactly what's expected of them. We open at 9. At 8:45, we have a shop huddle every day. So if you are late, everyone knows you're late. And then Valerie wants to talk to you after. So everyone's held accountable. We're a team. So everyone knows that you're late. And it's just having that habit and keep reminding them and giving them the reason why. But I don't know why, but when it is in writing, they know because it is physically there in their hands. Something about hard copies gets them going.
The expectation. That's it. Well, this is what we expected. This is what you did. And when I put this in, I had a technician tell me, I know it's the second part of the paragraph. I know. So they're well aware of it. And guess what? It didn't happen anymore.
Well, with that expectation, we are dealing with a different generation. I'll tell you what. So that expectation that's very one-sided doesn't go over very well. So what we do is, what do you expect from us in class? Me as the instructor. What do you expect from, and sometimes they don't talk, it's first day. What do you want from us? Why are you here? To teach us the material. Okay. Material, okay. What else? Oh, to teach us, have class. Do you want me here on time? Okay. And then when we were done with the list, guess what? There's a tit for tat. I'm teaching you the material, but you have to then express that you understand it and do the labs. You want me here on time? You got to be here on time. So it's literally, they want a paycheck. You need to be here on time. It's tit for tat. What do you expect from me as a shop owner? You want a clean uniform? I'm giving it to you. You want a locker room? I'm giving it to you. You want a paycheck? I'm giving it to you.
You always explain the why. This is why.
Yeah, so it's the same for us. If you need to let the instructors know that this is the way it kind of works, the way, you know, your shops are run, it's okay. People can choose to listen or choose not to listen. You guys can literally have it go in one ear and not the other. It's okay. I'm used to getting ignored.
Now, is it possible for all the instructors that we know and we talk to have what Kim has as procedures, what I have, what other companies have? Will you
Yes.
implement that
Yes.
courses so they're not shocked when they come to the shop?
I have asked for material in my advisory meetings, and I have yet to get any from this group. No, I want good ROs and bad ROs. Badly written ones, good written ones. And then I put them up there on the board and I have them see if they could pinpoint the areas that are bad. It's a day's lesson, it's a day's lab. So we did write curriculum for one class. It's fundamentals for technicians. And that's where all this gets covered. Off those soft skills, the mock interview, the resume writing, the English paper, using micrometers, basic math, all that stuff is done in one class. And it's been great because then after the core, when they start getting the core classes, they're already kind of broken in, if so to say. Okay.
What we're talking about is complaint, cause, and correction. What did the customer say? What did you find? What did you test? What do you recommend? What did you test at the end to verify the repair? This has to be written on the repair order.
So anything you guys can give us to help us is fine. When we talk about the resume workshop, if we want to put samples up of rules and regs and what's expected of technicians and we put it up there, what's wrong with that? Your logo's on there. It proves of what's expected of them so they know the expectation. If they can't meet it, they need to leave after that first class. Period. Okay, some of them just, they're not there for the right reasons. Let's get back to this. So program course assistance, ways that we can work together. So hosting a job shadowing event for a few students throughout the semester. I've done that. It has taken an incredible amount of work. But if you don't have a big shop, I was thinking something where maybe it's kind of one-on-one. Maybe we pluck 2 students out of the group and they go on site with a shop and they actually do their classroom hours with you in the shop somewhere. And they have a mentor or they're with you or they're with a tech, just so they get the feel of what it's like. They come back very in line. They come back amped. They're ready to go. They're ready to do something.
Their cost for that, you cover insurance?
I can speak for Rio Hondo. We have implemented some type of method of school being the providing. So but it's a lot of paperwork.
It is. So there is insurance, and this has been talked about nationwide because we do have some, like Skills USA wanting to get some stuff done. So that actually would be covered basically kind of like as an internship job experience. There's several categories listed under. It just really depends on how many of our program. You know, if it's one course, when I did the job shadowing event, I did a skill trip. I was on premises, but the shop was big enough where I could take a class of 12 and put them with technicians, and then every 40 minutes I rotated them. They got to work with different technicians, which was great. And it was even in the parts counter with the parts manager, with the tire tech, the new tech. And that way they had an appreciation of what it takes for the team to get one car in and out, how many people have to test that car. So if you don't do this right, you can't do that right. So it was wonderful. It was a 4.5-hour field trip because that's the length of my class. I had them engaged after that experience so much because they were like, oh my God. And they loved it, or the ones that were uninterested. It's okay. I'd rather break them down at that point.
Aren't you talking to the microphone?
Sorry. Okay. Oh, so insurance is a factor at different schools. Okay, it's not to say it can't work. It's just we need to know what you're capable of doing to see what we can do. There's a lot of things we could do under field trip. We could do a lot of things through our workforce development boards. If there's one on campus, a lot of times they could put it under an internship. We have interns for the Tournament of Roses and all kinds of other things. That goes under the thing where, oh, it's auto, what? Hey, you send the nurses to Kaiser? I want to send my techs out. All I do is piggyback off of whatever they're doing. So be aware too that you might get a dud. Okay, it's not like first call I get, hey, I'm looking for a tech. You know, I want a tech that knows everything. Be realistic. Did you know everything at 19? I knew you guys would say that.
That's what the standards are.
Now wait. We grew up in a different time. We do have to understand it's a different generation. You can't assume someone knows anything. Do not assume they know anything. I'm very sorry. Always ask. It's we have got caught in trouble, right? Assuming that they knew that 1201 was late when it was due at 11:59. That basic, okay? So let's get real with what's out there, okay? Knowing how the program works, coming to visit, right? John, you came to visit, and I forced you to talk. He came to clean his airplane pistons and some parts, and I said, hey, John, why don't you tell him what those are? They're air-cooled. Perfect. My engines class was there. They loved it. They like hearing from people other than us. They listen to us all the time, whether it's good or bad or indifferent, right? And don't you wake up when someone else walks in the shop? Oh, yeah. They're like, oh, there's been guests. Come visit. Okay?
That's a big impact.
It's a huge impact. It's a huge impact. You know, don't be afraid to ask either. You know, we had to get Joseph used to a different piece of equipment, which we had. Come down. Because sometimes there's intimidation factors with attack, or this is my boss, or this is that.
$100 tire.
Or yes, or very expensive tire. And it's like, hey, we got some beaters. Come in practice. Just, you know, come lunchtime, half hour, and we're there as that cushion. We want you to keep this employee. We want them to grow, and sometimes they might tell us something they don't tell you. It's okay. We're here to help them grow.
Thank you. I have a couple of questions. Do any of these schools have career days where they invite the various shops over? And secondly, do you also have an interview session training with not you, but an actual shop owner that come in and go through the interview process? Okay. So some more involvement with specific programs by shops.
Perfect. Yay, thank you. She's going to move me on to the next one. So field trips, job shadowing events, right? Put your name on a list. We have the ability. We just really need to know who's there, who can take a student or two. We'll work on the details. Insurance, just so you know, is one thing. But if we're with the students, that's not an issue, like a legit field trip. Outside events, that's my perfect segue. Training for members. I know we have had less training now than other years. I was introduced to this chapter due to the technical training. I used to go to the Rose Bowl area. What is it called? The Brookside, and chit chat with you guys, do my training. It was so cool. And then that disappeared. It turned very business oriented, which is fine. But if we have more shop nights and training where students can mingle with you shop owners and your techs, it helps them kind of see the reality of their new career. So shop nights hosted on campus, career fairs. So career fairs are very difficult. We have those usually done on campuses by counselors and by people who do not know CTE. They do not know our industry. Rio Hondo has a specific CTE counselor, so they've done a good job, but it takes an incredible amount of work from their behalf. They're running around, they're trying to plan things, they're trying to make sure the setup and the demonstrations are all there and all kinds of stuff. I've done one, and it was for women in CTE at their college. Okay, I went to their school to do it. We didn't even do it. Okay, but it gives me ammunition to push them and say, why the hell not? Okay, but we have had career type fairs, and Hanson's is the one that helps me. Dan, I call him up. Dan, I need this. He's there. He's hosted 3 of them. It's more of a vendor fair, and he gets, KYB and all this, kind of like our shop night that we have down in Azusa. It's like a miniature version of that. And then you guys are invited. I'm pretty sure you can dig up your emails where it says, come to the shop night. It's where the students can get to mingle with you. Now, the problem with that is we can't force the students to be there because it's in the evening or it's after class and a lot of them are working. We can't do that because it's...
I recommend what we do on it is you do family night. You bring the parents, grandparents, family. Get them, the whole, everybody to buy in, not just students.
And then I know Citrus does, they, on Wednesday before their semester ends in the summer, they have a pizza night on Wednesdays. And they have pizza and the shop's open, and it's a whole event. And that's open to the public, so that's not for the students. So there's difference between, are we open to the public to advertise to the outside high school and areas, and is it for our students? So there's different things that can be done. It's just the fact of knowing, really pulling it in, who's going to be there. The best time for us is during the daytime. Literally during that like 11 to 12 o'clock hour right before class gets out, or the 12 to 1 o'clock hour before the next, or when the next class starts. Because a lot of times, are you guys available after 5 o'clock? You guys are dead. You're dead right now. I see it in their eyes.
After work, yeah, we're pretty.
That's the morning look I get when they would have class at 8 o'clock. But so, there is ability to do career fair CT. Now, if the chapter wants to do one, do one. We can have a career fair. It's just we need to set a time and a date. We need to make sure it's okay right now due to COVID because things are tightening back up again. I'll tell you that right now. They just capped our enrollments in our classes to keep students from enrolling because things are getting a little crazy at school. So it's getting a little back on the yellow margin with danger zones. So they're not really allowing public back on campus. It looked like they were. I was filing for field trip forms already to test the waters. I believe they will let us go out because businesses are open. Everything's really open as long as we have masks on, but they won't let people come on campus yet. They even, FYI, they haven't allowed even the Tournament of Roses to do Band Fest. So they, topics for you to come into if you're going to come and speak at a class, talking about careers, the expectations. It could be a topic of the day, and you come in Auto 200 to teach the fundamental students. If there's something interesting on engines, you want to teach something on oil consumption, interesting oil consumption ROs, pictures, documentation, bring it in to my engines class. I would love that. Resume writing, topics, a good resume, bad resume. Look at this. What do you guys see wrong with this? Oh, look at this. Is this a good one? Get their opinion, get them talking, because that's what gets them thinking on their own. Okay. Visits.
It's actually really good for shop owners because it actually helps the shop owner understand, okay, great, I got this eager tech. What if his resume sucks? What does that mean?
Mm-hmm.
Here's a good student that has an outstanding resume, can't turn a wrench. Here's a really good student that has, I'm shy, I don't know what to write, how to tell about myself, but can earn 40 hours first week on the line.
So, let's see, career fair, vendor shop, owners looking for employee. Okay, visits to campus, help with mock interviews. Tim came one night, helped with mock interviews, and we have the stuff written. We don't need it to be very long and cumbersome because we do have a class of 20 maybe to get through in one night. But I brought in my other teachers, right? And I just sat there as the secretary and would call them and go to that room. Okay, you're next. You go to that room because they already know me. And I helped them write their resumes and I helped them do all this stuff. So the fear factor is awesome. When we give them timed assignments and we give them these mock interviews with strangers, it changes that student. It impacts them. I had a student say, I don't know why you do this. This is horrible. I was sweating. I didn't know. Why do we have to have timed assignments? It was a brake inspection from when they touch the car, they have to rack it, get the tires off, measure, check it to spec. I mean, everything, check lines, put it all back together, torque the wheels, put it down in under half an hour. And they're like, why? And I go, well, what don't you like about it? And he was very open in class. He goes, it's stressful. It's okay. Are you going to be like that with a shop owner watching you or a customer? Okay. What do you need to improve on? Well, the tools, I wasted time because the tool, I would scatter them. I'd use this here, leave it there. I'd use this here. Okay, let's improve on that. And we would give him pointers. Kid practiced and he got it done in 20 minutes. He could do that assessment. I had another student that went to a dealership and he was the only one that could perform to be a tire tech out of the 4 they hired in that pool. So why do we keep doing it? Because we've heard feedback from our students that it works. Okay. If it doesn't work, we'll change it. We're adaptable. Okay.
And another point from a shop owner's point of view, when you do mock interviews with students, you're going to refine your interviewing process.
Yes.
I guarantee it.
And it helps you.
Process as a result of that, because first time I was like, oh, where could this be?
Yes.
Yeah, they're all personalities.
He learned a lot. And what we want to know is how to assess them on paper for our grade and to give them, some kind of evaluation. So did they slump in the chair? Did they give you eye contact? Did they wear a ball cap? Did they shake your hand? Did they, just those basic skills that we've taught them throughout that class? Now this is one class. Did they sum it up? Did they even give a hoot? Okay. And we literally put them in the class together at the end of the night or day. And we're like, okay, so-and-so, you did this. So-and-so, you said 15 times. You, so-and-so. And they go, oh, and then they get better. The only way to know is by being told, right? So it really helps. And it will help you guys too. It'll help you guys to understand this new generation that is coming in, the words, the mentality. We had an interesting question. You remember the cartoon question? If you had what best cartoon character describes you? Did you guys have that one?
I think he did, but I forgot what.
Which question? Yeah. So, I mean, we go anywhere from Elmer Fudd to the one that shocked me was when the guy said Homer Simpson. And I was like, that gave me my heart sank. I'm like, Homer Simpson? I'm like, you want to be that guy, the doofus that makes all the mistakes and like grenades his town? And he's like, no, he's just lovable and funny. I'm like, okay. And then he thought about it. He goes, yeah, that's not a good example. So, ROs, good ROs, bad ROs, any weird issues that are not too complex, come and teach it. I know it takes you away from your shop, but there's no short-term profit. It's a long-term investment. It really is. We don't know if it's going to pan out. You don't know if that student's going to stay with you or you're going to get that student, but it's still seen by the other students. It's seen, your logo's out there. It's seen that you give a hoot. Okay. So next time the student drives by your shop, they go, oh, that's so-and-so. And grandma hears it and mama hears it and so-and-so hears it. It is literally publicity for you to be active. Okay. Hosting, maybe hosting an award, maybe a small monetary award. We have a lot of students that are in need right now. Okay, and they're struggling. I've had some that literally, why haven't you been doing your homework? You didn't read, you're asking me questions that were in the book that were very basic. What's going on? Well, I don't get a check till, I don't know when. Okay. Host an award. Put your shop business letter on it. Hey, congratulations on your excellent choice in this field. want to help you out with work boots. Work boots are expensive. We make them buy work boots. We make them buy a uniform and a textbook. We have figured cost into it because Sal had a horrible teacher that made you buy how much?
Well, he had a list 5 pages long of tools, which as a college student, like, I didn't have that money. I didn't come from a wealthy family, so. And the part that sucked is that he attached a grade to it. So if you didn't have those tools, and some of these tools we didn't even use, and a lot of it was standard. So it's, yeah, if you didn't have those tools, your grade would literally drop a whole letter grade.
And that's the being unequitable. So that's where we will tell you, we can't do that because it's unequitable. Sometimes you guys don't see that other side. That's what we're here to see. So, but my first class, that was 2 different textbooks. That was.
Yeah, he had multiple books that were $200 each. And now what we do is we use one book that has a subscription, and they can use it for the 2 years that are in they're in the class. And on top of that, we work on discount codes to get them the discount, and we supply the tools as well for the internships as well. We do. That's how we can make it part of as a capstone class to go intern at a shop, because we don't have that many tool sets to give each shop to take our students, to intern.
But you were saying that helps, right? To have one textbook for 2 years.
Right.
And so it's one initial cost. We're, the uniform, the boots, and the textbook. Host one of those awards. If you tell Robert, we deal with Robert and Dion. If you tell them, hey, I got get 2 pairs of boots for a PCC student that needs it. We have kids that could take advantage of that. And it has your logo and it says, congratulations on an excellent career. You got questions or you're boggled by something, come and ask. Come and say hello.
You call Norm and figure out how you can write it off.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of them don't understand that, So does that kind of make sense? Does that kind of sum up that you don't have to wait for magic to happen all at once? Start in little manageable pieces. We're all waiting for this magic train, that golden tack. It's here to tell you they don't exist, because it took us how long to get here? How long to learn? How many comebacks? How many mistakes? Right?
Those are in the expectation.
So, let's see. You could let an instructor know if you have something to donate, or a tool vendor, and then they will contact the instructor to make sure that it's kosher with that student. Make sure that it's not just, come visit the shop. You pick the student up after you've talked to them, or you've seen that. I had one kid that fell off a rack, alignment rack. He was wearing Dr. Scholl's shoes that he literally used in school. Not very well off. I asked a donor to the school to donate some work boots, and he did. So I had the Snap-on tool guy drive by, ask him his size, and drop off his boots. Never seen such a happy kid. He literally fell off the rack and scratched himself. Okay, so little things make a big difference. It doesn't take a lot. We're not looking for that magic at the end of the rainbow. Please understand that everything needs to be free and clear. There's no strings attached. Long-term investment, okay? And it's for the industry, okay? We do have students that literally have a lot up here, and they're great at wrenching. I think we've had 3 in the last couple years that go back to be engineers. They wrench for 5, 8 years, and then they're like, okay, I need something else in my life. Fine. And they go back to be engineers. But with that automotive experience, they're going to be damn good engineers. I would trust them over someone that's been in school their whole life, period, bar none. So it's okay. I had one kid that passed me in the hall, came back, and he was scared to say hello. Emil, what are you doing here? Hey. Oh, hi. And he was embarrassed. And he passed by, and then when I caught up with him later, I said, you're doing engineering. You're going to that classroom, taking math classes. Yeah. Why are you embarrassed? Be proud. Oh, and I go, I'm not going to be ashamed. You're going to be a better engineer because you got your hands dirty and you know how it is to get a power steering rack out. He got a rack out of a Chrysler that we had at school. It took him 3 days. It was the worst job ever. It was like, I don't know, some god awful 12 point something. Like you had to remove the engine. It was a Chrysler Concorde convertible. He stayed on that job. He's on my wall because he did it. And guess what? He put it back in half the time. That's the kind of gumption we need. Okay. So what? No.
So one of John's first jobs, hey, you can hold the mic. Hold on. One of John's first jobs was there was a convertible top that we had gotten into a shop. It was a C4. It was a 2005 or 6 C4, and we had already charged the customer $5,000. And of course, the tech that worked on it no longer worked at our shop. So I'm a shop owner scrambling to be a tech in the shop, trying to figure it out. By the way, I've never pulled a C4 top off before. Skated by 20 years at dealers, but I didn't have to worry about that. So John comes along. Hey, you like working on convertible tops?
I do not like working on convertible tops. I pulled that convertible top out, 10, 15 times. I can now do a BMW Z4 while you wait convertible top job for you if you need it done.
By the way, the second time around, the dealership sent the wrong part. Yeah, bad brand new part.
Oh.
So you have to have the mindset, and you have to take the time to write these things down. Because when the students come, it's easier to say, "Now I'm super busy right now. Could you just read this? I'll be right with you." And the next thing you know, they're doing it because they want to do it. They don't want to wait around waiting for you to give them the instruction. And those of you that have students and set that expectation, it's awesome. It's really fun. Because once they start growing, we had a student from PCC who was actually applied in our shop as a apprentice, did really well as a technician, got a job as an advisor. We got him moved over to being an advisor. He worked as an advisor for 2 years, and then decided he's going to go back to school to PCC to finish up some more degrees so that he can go back to engineering. And yeah, that's a lot of training we put into that student. But you know what? When you love something, you let it go. The growth that you see that individual later on in his career, Gene will tell you, it's your students that grow and do different things will come back and they'll put a smile on your face and they'll pay dividends way more than money. And that's what's given back to the industry. It's like going to a potluck. You don't get to show up if you're coming empty-handed. You gotta bring something to the table.
Is there any questions?
I don't have a question, but I'd like to remind everyone that we all have an audience for marketing and recruiting that we may not realize we have. It's called your customers. Thomas, who many of you have seen here over the last 3 years that worked for me Thomas was with me, for 7, 8 years? Okay. All started off with a conversation. Thomas went to Wendy's program, and it all started, I think he was an excellent service writer. I'd put him up against any service writer after he'd been through the program. And it all started off with a conversation that I had with his mom and his dad when they were picking up their car one day. That's where it started. So we all have an audience. So just remember, develop those kind of conversations with your customers, particularly if they have kids that are coming into that age range and maybe they don't know what they want to do, So just something to think about. We have an audience there to help us with our recruiting.
Even if you guys want to put up a sign too, you think someone's interested in the career, check out these local community colleges, and you could list our names down in our email with pictures. You advertise everything else, why not? You never know who's going to read that piece of paper.
Another good point too about getting people from the colleges is that they haven't gone to the dealership or to another shop yet and formed those habits that you don't want them to form. Because I can't tell you how many dealer techs we've hired that, they're already set in their ways. They think they know everything. And it's really hard to kind of
change that and get them to come around to your culture and your way of doing things. But when you get them from the colleges, you can train them how you want to bring them up. I mean, yes, it takes more time, but in the end, you have a service advisor for 10 years that you're willing to pit up against any other service advisor in the industry because he built him from the ground up the way he wanted him to be. So that's another really good reason for getting kids from the colleges. I mean, Tim got away without doing a convertible. That shows that he could just pick up another RO somewhere else. And that happens a lot in the dealership. Oh, I don't want this warranty job. I'll go over here. We know it. So my little secret, and I think I told you guys last night or last month, even certain students are built for independent and built for dealer. They don't have that critical thinking. They kind of lack something. Or that motivation, and they just want the cleaner cars, the easier jobs, right? The clock in, clock out. So there's a difference too, and we're really good at trying to pin that at the beginning. The field trips are for a reason. They're not just there to, oh, we're watching them. The ones that light up when we take them to the yard at City of Glendale, they're like, oh, wow. I'm like, hey, look at this turbo. It's the size of your head. You know, oh, look at all these. These are all hydraulic lines. Look at, these are air brakes. Here's the little, you know, cam adjustment. Da, 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 da. And they kind of go like this. I know where they're leading. I know where I could place them. Then we go down the street to Pacific BMW. And then you have those kids go like this. And they're like, oh, yeah. And they're kind of like, they don't like the stuffiness, the closed doors, the not seeing the customer, right? And then the other ones lighten up. Oh, that's a blah, blah, blah. I don't even know all the names. That's a E, whatever the hell it is. And I'm like, oh, how much is that hydraulic table? You know, I'm scoping out stuff for the shop, right? For us to get quotes. But those students light up. Or they'll ask questions. They'll go ask the tech a question. I won't ask for them. I'm like, well, ask them. They'll ask a question. Those are the ones I know are my dealer kids. Okay, so I'm not trying to force someone into something they're not, because when we start in the industry, we come in and we know that we have to do that convertible top. I don't get the choice or luxury of picking another job because that customer is going to be there. We understand that. So I came from independent, 100%. Never liked dealer work. Give me a drive shaft and U-joints any day over an oil change. Gear oil doesn't bother me. Best set in the world. Some people aren't geared for that. When I hand the bottles of fluid out to the students, I have one that has the BG cleaner in it. It smells like pine sol, you know, for the oil. Take a guess. What do you think it is? And stay quiet. You know, and you guys did that smell test with all the jars? Yeah. So when I get the ones that get to the gear oil and they go, I'm like, and then some are really bad where they're like, and they've got gloves on and they go, no, you got to feel it. And they're like, and then literally I'm like, okay, I'm watching this kid because they either won't get through the classes in the labs or they learn to like it, or then they go, oh my God, it's not so bad anymore. So it just, you know what I mean? We're watching all those things. We're watching those mannerisms and the gagging reflex. Can I put this guy to work in a yard and drop, you know, a trash truck's differential oil, which is like 3 gallons? No. But could I put him at Toyota as a loop tech? Sure. Does that kind of make sense? Where what we try to thin out the herd.
Right. Well, as Wendy said, you know, earlier, you know, a lot of us have been here a long time and things are changing. And I was at Rio Hondo last week or the week before doing something with them. And I happened to run across the Tesla, John, the Tesla instructor. And I never would have known, but Tesla's paying their students $19 an hour to go to Tesla to learn how to work on Teslas, and they're there full time. So we got to be aware of the things that are changing in our industry, that young people can go to school, get paid to go to school, and have a career while they're learning, where we expect them to go there for free, come work for us for peanuts. You know, Toyota's offering, you know, $22 an hour, no tools. So we got to be really careful. And I probably never would have known that had I not been on the advisories for, I'm on Citrus and Baldwin Park and Rio Hondo. You're just too much. Can't handle you. But no, it's just like, it's really enlightening to get out of your hole and see what's going on out there at the dealers and other industries and other shops. And I think it's your duty to get out and give back, volunteer, whatever you want to, call it. And you should be giving back to your association first, your colleges second, and then your community's got to be in there as well. So shop owners are good at working 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, and ignoring everything else. And we all do it. I did it for a long time, but seeing Tim and Johanna getting out and doing what they do, it just it gives us old guys some juice to get going again, because it's really inspiring to know that there are other people that'll do that. So I encourage all of you to, dig deep and give back however you want to give back. And it's your duty to our industry, our colleges. It's really sad when I show up to an advisory and I'm the only guy there, that's from auto. And there's tons of people here that should be there. So when the call goes out for an advisory, make the time, show up, takes no effort. You can do a lot of good for our industry and yourself. Like, look at what Tim's learned just by, it's inspiring to hear what Tim's learned just from, going to advisories. And in our shop, we sponsor $300 scholarships to different schools for young people to go to Citrus, and you can all do that. I mean, that's all something that little or no effort, but it just helps a young person, get a head start on their career.
And not just in our area, look at our chapter to see how many successful shops have husband and wife teams, or that have guys that are putting in all the effort. Look, this is how we grow. Visit those shops, see what they're doing, see what they're doing successful, because I guarantee you that you will learn one or two things that you can go back to your shop and just write them down.
Yeah.
Whether you act on it or not, just write it down. And
Put a Post-it on your computer screen, and then you go.
Say there's one good thing about the COVID situation. So you do not have to come up to campus. We are having virtual meetings. That's the plus.
I just like to second what Gene said a second. I have learned so much from this college, by being on
Feet on the ground.
I was with Adrian at Wells, at LA City College. But I learned so much from the other people, the other advisors, people that came to those things, because they came from dealerships, from everywhere. It's just a good learning experience.
We pretty much have, I think, the biggest advisory committee on campus. And we have multiple dealerships. We have Paul Cern from the training center at BMW. He's like the one taking over the training center. We have Nick Alexander, we have Pacific, we have Toyota, we have Honda, we have dealerships, but we have our independents. And it just, like I said, we just need we need to know what's out there from everybody. We have students that literally bar none are 100% die hard. I want electric vehicles, I want Tesla, that's fine. Let me get you in contact with Rio. Diesel, Citrus. We have no qualms about sending students where they need to go. That day's gone. That day's gone where it was the shit talking about that place and this place and, well, you don't want to go there, blah, 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 blah. No. What do you need? What is your goal?
Yeah,
okay.
Competition is really at the salesman floor,
No. So it just we literally, if you guys know more about what each school offers too, then that's easier for you guys. We are not sponsored. We have no, we have no Honda, no Toyota. We've been very, very, very happily living as an independent. ASCCA literally has been our strength. We had 5 members when I started. John, that was back in your time, right? It was you and A&E, and we're lucky if that was it. It was 5 guys sitting around a table with donuts. And then I start calling on you guys. Need you here because I need a tire machine and I need equipment. That shop was built with the advisory minutes from this group. Okay, so I can't tell you, you want techs to learn on this new equipment or to come in with some experience on ADOS or on this or on a Hunter machine and a John Bean machine for alignment, then you got to help me get the equipment.
Or an IT guy in your shop.
Okay, so does that kind of make sense? I can't do it without input from you guys. Because then I'm building my dream garage, and then I would be working on everything that's carbureted, so.
What do you want to say in your last 60 seconds?
Thank you.
I got one thing to say.
My name is Joseph. I'm a student of, or I was a student of Pasadena City College. Yeah, so, all right, Wendy knows, but I do have like 4 classes left at PCC, but it was due to Sal, who offered me this job or internship at Beamer PhD with Tim. And I would not have known about this position if it weren't for ASCCA and the connection that PCC had with Tim at Beamer PhD. So thanks to Sal and Wendy, I do now have this job. I did intern with Beamer PhD in January for 3 weeks. And then during the summer when lockdown was in full effect, Tim shot me a text and said, hey, like, we've got an opening. Would you like to work here? I said, I'm not going to school right now because in the automotive class, you have to be there to put, physical, like, hands on deck. I can't change tires over Zoom, so like, you have to get your experience in person, but of course school wasn't open then. So because of this association, which I've learned so much about, I was able to get a job in the automotive industry through my school into small businesses, which are also affiliated with ASCCA. So I guess what I'm trying to say is all the people here have played a hand in allowing me to get a job in the automotive industry through the school. So thank you, everyone.
Okay, now we're going to give away, or we're going to do a raffle. But we can't call it a raffle, so it's education fund. First of all, we need somebody who doesn't have a ticket. You didn't buy tickets. You didn't buy tickets, you get to be the first one to drop.
You have Kirk's tickets too? They're watching his too.
It'll be a Jasper Ninjas t-shirt.
I need like 4970.
4970.
Last 4 numbers, 4970.
Go ahead. I got it. Give it away to somebody else. Okay.
He doesn't wear your t-shirt.
I get it.
Let's go.
4955.
Oh.
55.
Of course, Ollie.
Oh, imagine that. I'll leave one.
Next one, 5004.
And if the shirt doesn't fit, you can give it away.
5004. All right. He needs a small.
There's your future tech right there.
Okay, next one. 5021.
This is from that's what you brought last month, right, Joe? All right.
We're giving away another shirt. 4981. 4981.
4981.
81, it's after, it's at the end of the road.
Going once?
No one wants to claim the teacher.
Okay, done.
Is that the done part?
$49.45. What are we giving away next? $15 universal gift card. $49.58. $49.58.
All we want again? And you should buy his tickets.
Another Jasper t-shirt. Are they getting us that?
5007. What are we giving away now?
$25 gift card at Starbucks on Northlight.
49. It's too close, Dolly. 56.
You already. Really?
Guys, we're back to normal, okay?
Nothing's changed. So what are we giving away? 20 bucks? $49.77.
Another university.
Joe.
And here we have a G-Pad F2 8.0 tablet. Thank you, Raul, for bringing it.
You get to draw this one. If you get all these, you're in trouble.
Pressure.
I'll read it.
You're in trouble. $49.75.
No, because he's 50. It's over here, 75.
All right.
Shop drawing $200.
Shop drawing goes to $200.
We're back to normal with our shop drawing. Starts at $200. You have to be here to win. We pull one number.
Jasper.
15. Miss Stein Brothers Body Shop, not here. Next month it goes up to $220.
He says pull another number for the universal gift card. He wants to give back.
Hey, Joe. All right, here we go. 4983.
I got 84.
I got 83.
You could have jabbed us.
Put it back. He said put it back. Why don't we just put it in the edge?
He wants to.
He's just gonna give it to all.
About 5008. There we go. Not a 400. 5008.
Salads to buy the treats for the students. What is that?
Okay,